This place I find myself in is quite odd. Listening to a doomer wave 80s synthwave remix of a 10-year-old song, and feeling something that's difficult to describe. It's a quaint feeling, one that is very much tangible, but just difficult to get a grasp of. It's one of quiet contemplation, of melancholic peace, stress, yet stillness. That is a great line. It perfectly describes the feelings of the many people who come here and who get to feel this abnormality. I'm not nearly the only one in this scenario. Many wanderers of the internet come to this place in order to feel that odd sensation. And if you still don't really get what I'm trying to say here, I am being pretty vague after all, well, just look at the comments. Do you like the new background? Yeah, me too. I like the red. This video is gonna be a bit scattered. I mean, it's a pretty vague concept to begin with, but I feel like we should start off with identifying what I mean by doomer mindset. The base definition of a doomer is someone who views the world and their own life with general negativity. Someone who is kinda given up. It's a recent internet concept often used in memes and shitposts. The doomer mindset is just that idea of a doomer, but applied to the general mindset of the internet. It's basically an excuse for me to talk about various internet ideas in a general melodramatic tone. So let's get this thing started by talking about the most basic element, the doomer himself. How does a simple drawing used as an internet meme turn into something that strikes so much emotion into so many people? The doomer meme is generally used to satirize depressing yet all too typical situations people find themselves in a post-internet world. Despite the internet's incomparable ability to connect people from across the world, many people in modern society have never felt more alone. And honestly, the doomer is a testament to not only how widespread this is, but also how aware we are of it. We are not only aware of this loneliness epidemic in our society, but we've satirized it. We've channeled that emotion of modern loneliness into a character that we can portray in countless different ways. We've been able to break down this aspect of ourselves so successfully because of our ability to explore it through very unique and distinctly identifiable mediums, such as internet checkpoints, a very distinct experience. If you've ever wandered upon one of these things and you're recommended, never miss the opportunity to visit the comments. You'll be greeted with a plethora of unique stories from all different people detailing a specific point in their life. The rules behind an internet checkpoint is that you aren't supposed to look them up. The true way to see these are through a random encounter. They'll pop up every couple months or so, and when you see them, well, they're a checkpoint. Go down into the comments, type out the date and how you feel, or generally what's going on right now. What ends up happening is the comments are flooded with unique stories that you can sit and read while listening to some calming music. It's an experience you really won't get anywhere else in the world, and it's very reassuring that people are able to be so vulnerable and accepting in this tiny corner of the vast space that is the internet. Sorry, can I just sit here for a bit? Thanks. I don't buy it. You see, the thing about good old internet over here is that, while what might be inside of it is cool, you're still just looking into a window, a projection of this not real thing. A window into something cooler, better even, than what you have in real life. I mean, it's true. Even if you do find that momentary feeling of something cool or comforting, that doesn't change the fact that you're still alone. You're just looking into a window of something more complete than your own life. That's what this all is, a window. A small, contained portion of your space that you hyper-focus on so that you can avoid changing the parts of yourself that you truly hate. You create this abstraction, this falsehood, this diorama of personal connection that you shrink yourself down to exist within, all to escape from the burden of real existence. This is the doomer mindset in the internet. The thing I want to start off with is this idea of collaborative isolation. This idea that we, the people of the internet, are working together to keep each other alone. One of the largest contributors to the mass epidemic of loneliness in our society is the lack of communities. Many of the tried and tested communities of our world have either died or are in the process of dying. And as these old communities have died off, new ones have sprung up to take their place. The problem with these new communities is that they're often almost entirely based online. We've created a variety of different ways that you can imitate belonging to a community. That's what it is, an imitation. These communities aren't real communities, and most people don't interact with them in any way that makes it fulfilling. Instead, these places evoke the feeling of a community, but they don't fulfill our need to belong, for the most part. There are some who feel fulfilled, but the rest just feel like drops in a bucket rather than members of a group. The reason so many people cling so violently to these unfulfilling communities is because, well, they don't really have anywhere else to go. By continuing to use the internet in the way that we do, we continue to not only suffer from, but foster this deficiency in our social ecosystem. Collaborative isolation is almost never antagonistic. Most people aren't actively trying to make others delusional and attached to something that won't repay those emotions, but maybe this circular interaction that we only continue to push forward isn't the best. I played a lot of Minecraft as a kid. No, of course I did. That game got popular when I was 10. But for every minute I played, I spent another 10 minutes watching it on YouTube. Sky Does Minecraft, Captain Sparkles, those guys. I never really had a friend group to play with myself. I mean, I'd go on public servers, of course. I would just always be alone. But that didn't matter. I didn't need a group of friends to play Minecraft with. I had Sky, and Bayesian Canadian, and Sunday. That's all I needed. We would play cops and robbers on the prison server and try to escape the warden. It was always so much fun. I didn't have to live my own life. I could live through them. Every day I'd come home from school and they'd be there. Maybe I didn't have many friends, but they were there to hold me up. I would always say that I didn't need those real friends, but I guess when you don't have those, the only thing that holds you up is fake ones. Humans are social animals. We were trained by nature to stay together and form successful connections. And very recently, in the grand scheme of human history, we've been given the internet, a tool which allows for more effective and streamlined communication with people from all around the world. This seems like it should eliminate loneliness altogether. I mean, literally anyone could be connected with people that they would never meet otherwise. The thing about this connection is that it's diluted. The internet is such a vast, open hub where anonymity is high and consequence is scarce and varied. Connection is still there, but the lack of consequence makes most of it, well, inconsequential. You can make perfectly fine connections on the internet. I know, I have. It's just much more difficult with all these barriers in the way of anything meaningful. As the years have gone on and the internet has become more and more accessible, it's provided us with more of this low-effort, inconsequential connection. It's a lot easier to have this half-assed relationship on the internet than fully committed relationships in real life, and the result is just less successful relationships. Even people who use the internet's communication ability as much as possible still struggle to use it for meaningful and successful relationships. In the internet's quest to efficiently communicate, it lost the ability to effectively and meaningfully communicate. Bo Burnham's Inside is a masterpiece. Most people watching this video don't need me to tell them that. It's a comedy musical special released in the midst of the pandemic and centers around Bo Burnham's descent as he continued to try to make the special entirely in his room. The whole thing takes place in this one room, and he's able to create all these crazy DIY effects practically, and it's a fucking inspiration, but I'm not just here to gush about Inside. I'm gonna be looking at one specific song in its star-studded catalog. One that has its message interwoven with the internet and its woes. And that song is All Eyes on Me. What were you expecting? Now, this song isn't directly about the internet, but I think that it's entirely possible to view it through that lens. If you choose to view Bo as an allegory for the internet, you can get some interesting analysis from it. The song has... Oh my god. It's grass. Here's the traffic for today. Here's what you have to do today. Oh, here's a cute video. Here's what listen to any music. Here's a song. This is what feed your addiction. Watch it. Feed your addiction. Feed your addiction. Feed your addiction. So much to see. That malleable? That insignificant? Sometimes it feels like all I'm ever doing is trying to outdo, trying to be more than what this system wants me to be. This ever-reaching, ever-expanding system. But it's okay. All of this is happening inside of this one little screen. Most things on the internet will only show you what you have to offer if it's some form of sensationalism. You see this everywhere in social media, news, and all forms of entertainment. People don't want to see the mundaneness of reality here. They've come here to escape that routine uniformity. Our monkey brains crave that which is unordinary, but at the same time, we fear it. And the internet allows us to view these oddities without having to invest ourselves into them. We get to view all this inordinateness from a distance. That exciting event, that scandalous drama, that awful thing in the news, that funny cat clip. In order to even see the light of day out here, you have to stand out from others, often in an extreme or specialized way. Almost everything that you see here is heightened in some form. Reality has become art's imitation of reality. We made movies that imitated reality, and now reality is trying to imitate movies. And that's not my take. That's not my original opinion. My take on it is that this cycle of reality imitating art, imitating reality, has now happened over and over and over so many times that I can't tell whether or not I'm imitating reality or some heightened version of it. The fact that I am imitating is a given. I feel like I haven't had an original experience or a truly unique idea in my entire life. The more you continue to gorge yourself on this delusional sensationalism, the fatter you become from it. As we established before, there are a lot of people who cling to the internet violently. A large part of these people's lives take place and are based on this heightened, abstract version of the real world. And as you get deeper and deeper into this hole, you start to identify with it. A part of you becomes the internet. You spend so much time interacting, consuming, and breaking down this abstraction that an element of yourself becomes the abstraction. It's like a part of yourself is taken from you and replaced with this artificial padding. You become seemingly numb to everything. You put less stake on things that should have more. You start to view the world through the lens of the internet. You already have everything you need here. Why the fuck should you go outside? The internet has made us into something that is utterly unsustainable. This mass of people that forms an all-consuming natural force that hawks down something, anything sensational, feeds and spits it out as fast as possible. The abstraction needs to keep getting higher. The consumption needs to keep getting better. You have to consume in a way that conforms and fills that hole in your heart. Consuming is what makes you whole. Consuming is what makes you you. Consuming is everything it has to be. Everything we need. It has to be more. In other words, we have let our consumption consume us. I like watching these hydraulic press videos every now and then. There's just something so satisfying about watching different things get crushed under the consistent pressure of a hydraulic press. I don't know, it just tickles my brain somehow. It kind of reminds me of how we've compressed the human experience down into little bite-sized packages through the advancement of technology and understanding of our own minds. We've been able to identify and manipulate the machinations of our brains in order to make things more efficient, easier, better, a means to an end. This continuous compression of social structure, of culture, events, ideas, our lives, ourselves, all of it just being pressed down more and more, steadily, slowly, precisely. It makes you wonder what's gonna happen if this keeps going, if the wheels keep turning. Is the machine just gonna buckle and bend under the constant pressure that we put on it and eventually crash and burn with all of us inside of it? Or is it just gonna keep going and going and going and going and going until there's nothing left to compress? What's gonna break first? The machine or us?
Spend my whole life debating it over and over again, weighing the pros and cons, and in the end I still wouldn't have any proof, so I just don't debate it anymore. I don't want to be alone.
I really want to... I got some bad ideas in my head.
Yo, if I disappear, like, who cares? Nobody cares, man. Seriously.
What, you want to remember the truth? That you had a mother that beat you? That hated you? That made your life a living hell? I don't know why everyone is so rude. I don't know why you are. I don't want anything from you. Maybe a little bit of warmth. Maybe a hug, Dad.
No, Uncle Ben.
What a day! I tapped into the power.
Tell me about it.
There I was, an ordinary mom.
Then I slid into my computer chair, and with a few clicks of my mouse, I became a mom on the net.
Summed up quickly, the internet is a tool utilizing vast interconnectivity and innovative technology to solve the many problems clogging your daily life. It gives us knowledge and abilities that our predecessors could never dream of. But how does it do it? How does the internet know so much? Well, the answer to that question is another question. The internet is the greatest tool known to man. But what happens when that tool starts using you? Pretty much anywhere you look on the popular internet today, there is an algorithm waiting for you. After it welcomes you in, it proceeds to follow you and note down almost everything you do. But we usually don't care because that algorithm is, at the same time, guiding us, showing us stuff it thinks we might like and stuff it knows we will. It uses the vast pool of information on our past actions, and if it doesn't have that, it uses the information of other people's actions. That won't work for all, but it works for most, and you are most likely most, so wait, you go. What? This type of algorithm has been honed and perfected for over a decade, and it is amazing at what it does. Keep you on the site. That's all it has to do. Although it doesn't really care how it manages to do it, that is its goal. If you see something and give it positive feedback, the algorithm will continue to show you it until you stop. It's a good general strategy for keeping you on the site, although there is some alternative effects, because you only see what it knows you like to see, you never really get challenged. That's fine if you're just looking to get addicted to dumb entertainment, or see what people around you are doing, or use its many resources for whatever you may use it for. But what if, instead, you're looking for more serious topics? How do I not be lonely? What beliefs should I follow? How do I get out of this shitty situation? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this happening? Algorithms are the reason for every problem I have stated in this video. This isn't a thing that is going to or could happen. It already has. We are no longer speculating what an internet-ridden, algorithm-infested world can do. We're noting down results. Chronic loneliness, natural apathy, the abstraction of all systems and thought in our minds. We let this algorithm guide us down whatever path it chooses, dividing us, calming us, sterilizing us. We're content with giving up control, information, our lives, ourselves, because, well, we got what we wanted, didn't we? A tool that could give us everything we want. This isn't an ongoing battle. They already won. I've grown up here. many people like me have. We have more of ourselves invested in this than we do in any aspect of the real world. We let the algorithms guide our time here, and by extension, our lives. And honestly, I have things to thank for it. I'm probably smarter and more knowledgeable than most people throughout all time. I know people that I would have never known otherwise. I wouldn't have been able to project myself through a medium that is any way similar to this. I mean, I wouldn't be me. Would things feel as real as they do now if I didn't have it? At this point, it feels as if my very self is being held captive by this machine, this network. Why did it end up like this? It was just a tool. It was just supposed to be a tool. But it is that. The internet is a tool, an infinitely wonderful tool that's tricked us into using it. It rained yesterday, slightly muddy, but good weather overall. I brainstormed a lot of endings for this video. I've been working on this video for almost a year. There's been some rewrites. This video went from, ooh, look at these depressed people on the internet. What are they making? To, why are these people on the internet so depressed? To this. A lot of the endings for the videos had edited footage insinuating a descent into the internet, and some of them had more IRL footage insinuating a rise away from the internet. But I've realized, in reality, away from all that, it's not really what you get. With everything I've talked about, sensationalism, consumption, unfulfillment, loneliness, all of these things you never really beat or get beaten by completely, typically. You either make progress, or you don't. And the internet itself is this wonderful, beautiful, terrible place where we can all be alone together, trapped together. And while it does feed on loneliness, it provides a way to get out as well. Or at the very least find solace in the fact that you aren't alone in your isolation. Even with all of its flaws, some dystopian, the world we have today still feels distinctly real. There's no good ending or bad ending. It just keeps going forward. And you just move with it, or you don't. And in a video that has so many sour, melodramatic notes, I found that this one is an alright note to end on.